our listeners, I'm Emily, a student at the University of Illinois, and today, Jean Drosco, Logan Honegger, and I are chatting about transitioning from a student to a professional. If you have any questions after listening to this podcast, please email us at acescareerservices@illinois.edu.
Hi, everyone. Like Emily said, I'm Logan Honegger. I'm from ACE's Academic Programs Office. Thanks so much for having me join you today. Just for some background, I graduated from the College of ACES in 2017, and last year I earned my master's in higher education. So this past year, I've been transitioning myself to becoming a full-time professional and no longer a student, and I hope to give you guys some advice and helpful tips to everyone today.
Hi everyone, this is Jean. Logan and I hope to highlight some points to keep in mind to become a great employee.
Thanks for doing this, Logan and Jean. So where should we start?
Yeah, I think my first tip is that you're going to have to transition from syllabus to work goals. And what I mean by this is that your employer isn't going to provide you with a rubric each semester for your work assignments. You need to figure out what is expected and when it is due, and in what format it should be delivered. Having clear conversations with your manager about what is expected is key.
Jean, do you have anything to add?
Well, Logan's tip is great. I'm going to start at an even more basic level. You need to show up when expected and how expected. In other words, you need to be on time and dressed appropriately. Even if you're working remotely, you still need to appear as a professional on virtual meetings. Make sure that you are dressed as expected. You also need to deliver work in a timely manner. Companies tend to be more nimble than your courses, although the spring of 2020 semester gave you a taste of how things can change. The target or deliverable for your work, as it is first assigned to you, may evolve. Be aware of this and be ready to adapt.
That sounds great. Logan, do you have another tip?
Emily, I think that time management is really key for being successful. This is where you build upon what you've learned in college. Time management can be one of the harder things to learn in college, but the same concept carries on into your professional life. Just like you had schoolwork, extracurricular activities, and maybe even a part-time job while you were in college, you still had to learn how to balance all these things and stay sane. Same thing after graduation. You will have other things going on in life that need your attention. It's helpful to prioritize what's most important to you at work. You need to find out when the final deadline is for a project and figure out the smaller deadlines in between so that you are prepared to deliver on time. Think of it as setting up your own test dates. Then when you get home, prioritize your home life as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Jean, do you have another tip?
My advice is to find a mentor or circle of mentors. I recommend meeting lots of people in your organization, not only the ones on your team. So when you need expertise outside of your team, you'll have more contacts.
I hear a lot about find a mentor, but how does one go about actually getting one?
Yeah, Emily, that's a great question. I still have many mentors from my academic life that I've held on to in my professional life. For me, it made most sense to gain mentors that would provide knowledge in the field that I was going into, which was higher education and academics. One of my previous academic advisors and professors have both been great mentors to me in providing guidance and advice when I have questions about higher education and where my future might be heading. I also think that making connections through RSOs or clubs, internships, those are all great ways to gain a mentor in the field that you hope to work in.
And I'm just going to chime in and just say that finding a mentor isn't as technical as you may think. It is really just building relationships based on trust and then asking for those people's advice. Mentors can be more senior than you, peers, or even people younger than you who have expertise you don't. I also recommend that you build a support network outside of your work. Professionals don't bring their personal problems to work. Make sure you have a trusted friend to share your personal problems with before you enter work. Conversely, you also don't want to complain at work about work problems because that seems unprofessional and actually could get you in trouble.
That is really good advice. Do you guys have any last bits of advice to add?
Yeah, I would say don't be too nervous to be done with school and enter the quote real world. It can be a shock at first, not having to worry about homework or a big exam coming up. And it can also be a shock when you leave the place that you've been living in for the past 4 years. I think reaching out to people in your company for advice, attending social gatherings in your office to get to know people, and making friends in your new location are all helpful. Realize that you won't know everything right away, and it's kind of like starting at your freshman year again, but realize that you were selected for this position at this company for a reason and that you're a star.
So earlier, I mentioned covering the basics of showing up. Once you have mastered the basics and are delivering on your assignments, then consider how to make your boss look great. This is called managing up. Figure out the obstacles your boss is facing. If you can remove those obstacles, your boss is going to find you invaluable. An invaluable employee is a person who successfully transitioned from student to professional.
Thank you for listening today. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at acescareerservices@illinois.edu.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. And again, if you have any questions about how to transition from student to professional, or even questions about higher education, you can reach out to me, Logan, at LHONEGG2 at illinois.edu or 217-333-3380. When in doubt, just be sure to ask.
Bye, and remember that you're an Illini and you've got skills.